Kids and cadets, welcome back to Tommy Time. Appreciate you coming out. What we have here is a 2020 Troy-Bilt TB110. This happened to be in a group of two where the scrapper said, "Pay me now, I'll deliver later." I had already gotten the first one in that group. This Troy-Bilt showed up this week. So it took him a couple of weeks, but I was fine with that. I didn't want him piling a refrigerator or a stove on top of the Troy-Bilt and crushing the plastic, so I was patient. He had a light load one day and he dropped it off for me. So this was another $10 unit. Like I said, a Troy-Bilt. This thing's got problems, so let's discuss them. The last three units with major problems happen to be Troy-Bilts. I don't know what the deal is. Maybe I'm just having some bad luck with the TBs, not sure. Or if they got a run of bad engines from Briggs. So he had dropped this off when I was making deliveries. I got home, went to pull it, would not pull on the recoil. I put a clip on the safety brake bar, got under there and rotated the mower blade. The blade in the engine did turn over, but very slow, like it was binding or grinding. So I removed the plug. I put a couple ounces of ATF, automatic transmission fluid, in the cylinder, rotated the mower blade again, got it all nice and gooped up, and then let the unit sit on its handle with the cylinder facing up. I kind of watched the fluid level. I moved the cylinder till the fluid was just pouring out of the spark plug hole. That way I knew I had full coverage on the top of the piston. Put the plug partially in and let it sit for a few days. So now I am looking it over here in the daylight, trying to figure out what the deal with this thing is. I think it may have multiple issues. I need your advice from you kids and cadets on how to proceed with this thing. So still turning over, difficult or hard, difficulty hard turning it over. Just pulling on the rope isn't going to do it. You have to manually move the blade in order to get it to move. So first thing I did was make sure the brake pad was not hitting the flywheel. Make sure that wasn't binding. I also removed, loosened up the coil bolts, made sure those weren't hitting the flywheel as well. So basically I removed anything that I thought might be binding the flywheel. So that didn't do anything, still turns over hard. I removed the overhead valve cover to see if I could see anything misplaced or any kind of damage there. And as I was rotating the engine, I had the cylinder on TDC, and I'm familiar where the flywheel should be at TDC. It should line up with some of these pre-drilled holes. TDC now shows right here. I know that's not right. The flywheel position is off here. TDC should be over here somewhere. I kind of use these pre-drilled holes as a guide. Anyway, I just knocked off the nut. To see what was up. What we have is a sheared Keyway. You can see half of it's still in the slot, the other half is over here. So I thought they would be two separate issues. I thought maybe we had ring damage or piston damage. The contact with the piston against the cylinder walls, it felt like that kind of a symptom. Maybe this is secondary. I'll turn it over, I'll show you the underside. The blade condition's gonna show you why this happened. I probably should have showed you that first, the blade condition. This oil here is just some of the transmission oil that dripped down on the blade. It's not engine oil. You see this side's flat. This side over here whacked something. There's a big gouge here taken out of the blade. So this thing whacked something and turned itself downward. Let me rotate it here, you can get a better look at it. Major rock strike right there, and it just tweaked the blade that way. So what gives is the zinc Keyway. Something's got to give when all of a sudden you come to a momentary stop. So that's the deal with that. So I think we have two separate issues. Maybe you guys can enlighten me on this. I've never had a double situation with a cylinder, piston that wouldn't move freely, and then also we have a Keyway issue here. I've got a 10-pack of Keyway, so I'm gonna run in and grab one, put it on, and see if that eliminates the piston binding. But I think we got two separate deals here, and it looked like it had enough oil. Just turned it over so the dipstick here is all discombobulated. My first assessment was, oh, they ran it low on oil, tried to save it, and put more oil in the crankcase after the fact. But I don't think that's the case. I think it had plenty of oil to begin with. So that's where we are on this one. Give me your suggestions. I'll patiently wait for those. In the meantime, I'm gonna go to work here and pop the flywheel, new Keyway, make sure the valves are within tolerance, start spinning the blade, see if we have a free moving piston. So maybe the TB won't be as bad as I thought. We're gonna mess with it some more. Not a bad looking machine. It's just unfortunate they ran over a stationary object. Less than 3 years old, really sandy and dirty here, but this is gonna clean up. High rear wheels. It'll be a good seller if I can rectify it. Hopefully I can. Like I said, this was a $10 pay me now, I'll deliver it later. Let's see if it's got gas, and we can check fuel condition since you're here. Don't go away. May have water in the fuel. It's cloudy and there's some contamination in there. I can see a little bit of water, not too much. It's mostly contamination. So this thing may have ran if it wasn't for these secondary issues. But let's try to rectify it, get this thing freewheeling as it should with good compression. Then I'll tackle the dirty tank, and the carburetor most likely has some water droplets in the bowl. Thanks for coming out, kids. I'm going to update you later on what we do with this, did or didn't do. At least it didn't look like this one. But it still sheared the Keyway, so it doesn't matter. Have a good day. Tip your waitress and wait staff. They do an awesome job. Have a good day.